Seas are calm today. Guess where me and Miss Junebug are at? We are at Beauvoir.
Beauvoir. What does that mean? A beautiful view?
A beautiful
or
view.
Beautiful to view?
Yep. And we're at the last home of Jefferson Davis, U.S. Senator, Congressman, Secretary of War, and only President of the Confederacy. Beauvoir served as a Confederate veteran. Beauvoir. I need some lessons in French, don't I? As a Confederate veterans home from 1903 until 1956.
It survived Hurricane Camille.
Yeah.
It had some damage from Hurricane Katrina.
Katrina damaged it, and they had to redo it. Some interesting facts on it. It was actually from the Dorsey family. And after the war, Jefferson Davis had some financial issues, of course. And she allowed them to stay in a small guest house on the grounds, and she lived in the main house. A little later on, I don't remember the year, but she found out she had cancer, and she changed her will and gave this property to Jefferson Davis and his daughter, Winnie. And the family had it until after Winnie died, and her mother sold it to the Sons of the Confederacy with the stipulation
of Mississippi
that it be used as a Confederate nursing home, kind of,
or something that kind of chronicled Jefferson Davis's life.
Yes.
So it served as both, right?
Yeah, served as both. So they have a library here, Presidential Library of Jefferson Davis, and it was used as a home until the last Confederate soldier from Mississippi passed away in 1956. So it was kept up. Here's a statue of his son and his adopted son.
Jim Limber.
Yeah.
And his son, Joseph Davis.
Yeah. And kind of interesting fact, his adopted son was black. So
a lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. So just some interesting facts as we're working our way into the main house. And it is cold in Mississippi today.
Low 50s.
Low 50s. Me and Donna's got her sweats on.
Her jackets.
But it's warmer than Tennessee, so I guess we got to take it. I told the woman we probably brought the coat with us. She told us to go back.
Take it back.
So
some of the buildings here were destroyed by Hurricane Katrina, so there's some of them that are going to be reproduction.
Yes, and even the main house, the porches were off. But we're working our way there. So we're working our way around. I think the tour starts on top of there. So here we go.
What was the other thing we had heard? Is that when he lived here, the water came all the way up to this fence line.
Yeah, actually the water come to the fence line. Had a beautiful view. And I'm looking at my little paper, so guys, sorry for my little cheat sheet. 6, Hayes Pavilion. It was originally destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. So, reproduction. But I do know the house. The porches were off. It has suffered major damage. But there it is. Jefferson Davis's oldest daughter stayed in this when she visited. She was a Hayes. She'd married a Hayes, so. And we'll get back with you here in a minute, guys. This is where Miss Dorsey lived. And Jeff Davis rented the pavilion, the little house over here, for $50 a month.
For 2 years. 1877 to 78.
Yeah. And then, of course,
this is reproduction.
Yeah,
right.
the little house is a reproduction. And so is the Hayes house a reproduction because they were both destroyed in Katrina. And the decks, I know, was destroyed during Katrina. When me and Donna was here, they were still working on this from after the storm, so.
Let me go get a...
Traveler, President Jefferson Davis dog and faithful companion.
And the lady was crying. I go, I know why I'm crying. Why are you crying? She goes, I just knew my aunt owned the place. I didn't know she was anything important. Wow, talk about a time. Talk about something special. Now, the ceiling is incredible. It actually paints and tells a story. Over here, you'll see a young Poseidon with his trident riding a porpoise. This is about the progression of time. As you go over to where the north side is, you'll see he's all grown up and the dolphin is all matured. It's very interesting when you see the time progression. The painting style is known as trunk work, and it took the people after Katrina 1.5 years to get it finished. Wow. And what I loved about it, and the ladies are going to love this, the husband was afraid of heights. So he was all down below and she was all up top. And
he claimed to be.
We got a photograph with him with a death grip on the rail. And I know it was staged because you cannot paint with a death grip on one hand and his wife right next to him has the palette in the hand. And she's going to town, no problem. No problem. Now in here it's known as the music parlor. It's known as the ladies' parlor. It can't be truly said it's a ladies' parlor because a true ladies' parlor would be twice the size of a gentleman's parlor. Because the women's dresses took twice as much room. You got anywhere between 20 and 75 pounds of battle gear with those ladies with corsets and the hoop skirts. It wasn't exactly comfortable. Some of the things in here that I like to point out, the harp. That was a gift from Sarah Dorsey to Winnie Davis. She wanted to challenge her. Gentlemen, we all know better than challenge a Southern woman now, don't we? Mm-hmm. They will accomplish, and so did Winnie. Not only did she play the harp, the piano, the violin, and the guitar, she also spoke 5 languages and was an author. Wow. And then in between, she also had the time to be queen of the Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans. Yeah. And that portrait you see right behind it, that's a Winnie Davis original. That is a Winnie Davis painting. Now that harp is one of only 3 existing harps in the world. It's an Esteban, It was actually made by a gentleman who started making musical instruments in France during the French Revolution. He escaped to England, started the English harp company, and that is one of the biggest.
It's beautiful.
What makes that harp so incredible, and I love it when we have people who play harps because their mouth drops right off the bat. There's 7 missing strings. The reason why? There's one extra. Cellaret. Now, what's interesting is mirrors. Every mirror had a purpose. This is so a lady could see that all of her hems and seams were perfect and she could go 360 and turn all the way around. So this made perfect sense for the ladies. But why would you have a mirror down here? She has the best view for this. The reason why is on the cellaret, on either side you would have your bourbons and brandies and wine decanters so you can see the quality of the alcohol. The mirror was there so when the light did hit it correctly, you could see how fine of a quality of alcohol. That's the only reason why they had a mirror down there. The marble, well, that was your refrigeration unit. Marble stays cold to the touch no matter what. Put a flat bottom decanter or tray on that, it's going to slightly chill anything that's inside. So that makes that extremely interesting. Now this actually operates the
isn't it like a scene kind of? Yeah, I don't know. It had to be some kind of balloon or something. 1859. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, and make it match.
With the width. So they just there's no pattern.
There's plenty.
It just blew my mind because you would think that all the people, the lumberman, would have had.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
As you can tell, I'm horrible about keeping time with the 30-minute tour. I take that rule and I just blow it right out of the water. I stop when I'm not having fun anymore. We're having fun. Keep on going, keep on going. There's some more people in here. And right about there now. That is Domino's.
Beautiful. In 1883.
Now, one of my favorite things about this room is bushings. Now, as you can tell from my accent, I am not from the South, and our numbering system's a little bit different. I went in this room and I got really confused because I always go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do the numbers here. 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 5, 6. It's brilliant. Now, the reason why that is not number 1 is because when you have people here and you're inviting them in the parlors will be open, people would be dancing and eating, people would be over in the back, people would be open in the front, and doors would be open, except for the girls' bedrooms. They were locked and Dad had the key. In fact, they would have to go out the window and come inside to join the party because that door was locked. So that means that they came from the front parlor into the back parlor. They weren't facing west, they were facing north. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the only one out of place is number 10. Here's the situation. The entire time of their existence with the Davises. This is something that they had added. It's going to take me a minute, but I'm the only one who knows the name, and I'm going to have to look it on up. It's a German meaning for 1/4 measurement. I met the granddaughter, the great-granddaughter of the man who made it. Her family carried her up the stairs. Her elevator broke down. She was having to carry it. She had to see it. It means 1/4 measurement. These are cypress, and what makes it so special is that you're on a leaning porch. So this one is actually beveled in 2 different directions for it to sit right here, and that one's beveled in 1. So if you put these anywhere else on earth, unless they're on the same exact pitch of the porch, they would teeter. This is the adult dining room. Now, the children would eat in the children's dining room until they reach the correct age or etiquette. I have a 30-year-old that would still be in the children's dining room. But yeah, that made that very interesting. And then there's the butler's pantry. So they would go in from the kitchen, down the walkway. And I know there's 100 different names for the walkway. The whistle walk. They don't like us talking about the whistle walk. But I'm going to ruin Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs for you. Have a little fun while doing it. You whistled while you worked. That was to let the gentlemen know if they were having a conversation that you weren't supposed to hear them coming. And 2, it's impossible to eat and whistle at the same time. It's also known as a dog trot, and it was known as that because a dog trot would be where the dog is walking back and forth to get to the food. How do you get the dog to stop barking? Hush puppy, fling it through the lattice, and that was to get the dog to stop. That is one of the many things, and I know I've heard a million different things, so this, it is what she is. Now, they would take that food, come on in here, and the children would eat, and then the adult would go through. They did have a butler, a dumbwaiter.
Right.
And then that way they could serve everybody from in here. If it was bad weather, they could be in here. If they were having a massive party, they could go take care of the people in the front and on the back porch, or the north porch and south porch like that.
Going back to that main room, they had skinny doors like that. Were those closets that were in the main room?
Those doors, okay.
Or were they part of the dumb waiter?
Oh no, this is the coolest thing. Thank you for bringing that up. The cold air is underneath the house. There's 2 air shafts that would coming in from the north, backed off like 2 fireplaces, and they go into the closets.
Oh.
So, if you wanted to have a little bit of draft, you'll see that those closets are actually locked in position, so the airflow is constantly going through. If you had them open, the air would come in and go in through the hallway, causing the breeze. If you didn't, they went up north into the attic, and you can actually see where the hot air would be pushed into the attic and expelled while creating a vacuum, causing the circulation inside the house. Just like the Thomas Jefferson House. What is the name of his place? They have a real fancy name, of course. Thank you. Just like the Kings of 1864 from Boston, Massachusetts. But that is for detailing cuffs and collars. That is her canopy bed, and it is absolutely incredible. Kind of cool. I know everybody looks at that silk top like the eye of Ra. Everybody zooms in on it. I love that. So you see her hip tub, you see the sewing machine, the portrait that you see on the shelf.
Some change from that.
I do want to tell you one last thing. You notice the sage and rosemary in the back? Jefferson Davis loved something that his wife couldn't stand. Peafowl. Peacocks.
Yeah, put it in
He'd be walking
There's a
around
fox.
with
to him. Here is the back Beauvoir. And you can see the sister. And of course, it's a reproduction because the original one was destroyed during Katrina. It's really surprising more this house wasn't destroyed than was. But so onward, we are traveling to the Rose Garden. Which was Mrs. Davis thing. The tour was good, you know.
The house was really nice.
The house was, yeah, fascinating. But, you know, you
Weren't a big fan of our tour guide.
I'm videoing, so be careful what you say. Somebody would be butthurt.
Do you have the
I got the map.
map? So what's 10 here?
This is the Rose Garden. And it's being redone. It's Verena's Rose Garden. And of course, the real one was destroyed by Katrina.
Covers in excess of an acre.
Yeah. So they're working on it.
Oh, here's an interesting factoid.
Oh, we got a factoid.
The original name of Beauvoir in the period it was owned by James Brown was Orange Grove.
Orange Grove.
There are some orange groves around here.
That is some more of the history that I hadn't read. You know, I had read that Mrs. Sarah Dorsey, I think was her name, but Mrs. Dorsey had willed it to Winnie. And the reason why is because Jefferson Davis was no longer a U.S. citizen. He couldn't own property.
Wasn't allowed to own property.
Because that was some of the price these guys paid.
That was interesting, I thought.
And so she gave it to Winnie. And, but Jefferson Davis paid. He offered to buy the place for $5,000 or so back in the day, $5,500. He paid the estate the whole time he was here, back for the house and the grounds. And if you look at the picture I took inside of 1883, you could see where the water come right to the fence line. The road wasn't there, as you know. This is a man-made beach. During its time as veterans stayed here, Civil War veterans from the Confederacy. Over here, on the other side of this fence, was a woman's hospital.
Yep.
And over to this side, over here where the Presidential Library is, was the man's hospital. So, and the last three people that were here were women.
Yeah.
And they moved them to a nursing home in 1956, just up the road. And that's where we're at, guys. And we're in the Rose Garden.
Oak trees this way, and the Oyster Bayou Bridge
is that way. So we're going to look at our map and head off. Okay, guys. Jefferson Davis, President of the Southern Confederacy. Beauvoir. Beauvoir. Yeah. Stranger, tread lightly here, for this spot is holy ground. Here are buried over 200 of our Confederate dead, once the home of Jefferson Davis, President of the Southern Confederacy, now this Confederate soldier home of Mississippi. Each soldier's name shall shine untarnished on the roll of fame, and stand the example of each distant age, and add new luster to the historic page. So here we go, guys. So the cemetery was used by the home once it was, you know, turned into a veterans home. And it's really a beautiful place, and if you get a chance, come and here's the tomb of the unknown of the Confederacy. And the interesting thing, there is one more here who was not a member of the Confederacy buried at this cemetery. And you can easily find his grave, for it's the one not marked with Confederate flags. And that is Jefferson Davis' father they buried here. So let's go see if we can find it. And here is the father of Jefferson Davis. And you see he got American flag because he was a Revolutionary War hero.
He was reinterred here in 1947, I think is what I read.
Yeah.
1942.
1942. So, and ironically, they moved him here, but Jefferson Davis is buried at Hollywood Cemetery in Virginia, where a lot of generals and soldiers were buried. Maybe one day we'll have to go see it, because there are a lot of great generals, man. There are a lot of generals buried at Hollywood. And so on we head to the Presidential Library.
Yes.
This is going to be a long video.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We, Secretary of War. The Mexican War. Working as a clerk in 1878 with the help of his brother-in-law, Anderson Hayes.
This boat was owned by Winnie.
Oh, the boat. The Barbarella.
Barbarella was a Choctaw word for friends.
Friend.
That weighs 526 pounds.
And that was Winnie's, Jeff Davison's daughter boat. Look like a Hearst. Don't that look like a caisson? A fancy one.
Here's his death mask.
He had very good penmanship. Oh, this is for people my age and older, because I know young people can't read cursive anymore, cursive writing, because you guys are just geniuses.
He was originally dressed in Metairie, Louisiana.
Huh.
In the Army in Northern Virginia's tomb, and then he was reinterred at Hollywood.
Yeah, I knew he was in
In
Hollywood.
1978, Carter restored his citizenship, calling it the last act of reconciliation in the Civil War. And there was his funeral procession. This was used to carry his catafalque.
Yeah. Like was using the funeral procession of Jefferson Davis, December 11th, 1889 in New Orleans. His wife desired for military. The Six Flag Corps. 50,000 citizens watched. Very good. And here is his death mask. So, okay, guys, and I think I showed this earlier, but just in case, that was the coat worn by Jefferson Davis when he was captured by Union cavalry at Erinville, Georgia, on May 10th, 1865. He had really nice penmanship.
Yeah, he did.
I was telling that you know, kids today probably can't even read it. You know.
When it's piano.
Did not go back into the house. Been shipped against Blanca. Interior pianos were damaged beyond our ability to repair. Since Katrina. Guys, you know, especially these places on the coast, if you're going to see them, you really need to, because these hurricanes blow through and just take everything. Now we are headed into the Confederate soldier exhibit, but there were some of the main generals for the Confederacy. I have done kind of did a walkthrough here, guys. Just pause it, and look, there's a lot of weaponry, and it kind of goes into the states succeeding from the Union. So, so if you really get a chance, come and just a beautiful, well done little museum. It's huge. I think you'll enjoy it. Very nice.
Possibly no larger factor than the project's early supporter, Jefferson Davis, doomed the Camel's Law. Perhaps a historic...
This uniform belonged to Captain George Ralston of the 1st Mississippi Light Artillery Regiment, Company H. And then here is the library. Hey guys, that's our video of Beauvoir.
We went through the museum. There's a couple good things in the museum.
Yeah, his death mask was there, or the Hearst was there, or whatever they called it. You got to do a house tour, so you got to be here. It's on the hour, right?
Every hour, yeah, from like
to
10
view
to
the
4.
house.
Yeah.
Because of the political climate we're living in.
They don't let you do self-guided
tours anymore. And, you know, guys, really, get a grip on yourself, you know. If you disagree with somebody, so what?
Deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I liked it. It was $12.50 for
the house
admission.
Was excellent.
Yeah, it was. The museum, nah.
Yeah, not as cool as the house.
Yeah.
And if you'll look in the video that I did, I took the picture of what it looked like after Karina. All the decking had been ripped off. That thing had faced, what, 18 hurricanes?
18 hurricanes.
And, you know, it's probably great that it survived as well as it has. But it did take the porches off, everything else. Jefferson Davis' bed is not here. It's actually at the White House in Montgomery, Confederate White House in Montgomery. And we are actually headed there.
Headed to Montgomery.
We're headed to Montgomery, what, couple weeks?
Yeah.
So, and we're going to tour the White House in Montgomery, because as Richmond fell, they had to keep moving it. And we are actually going to visit that. And, you know, so that was our view. I think that the house was well worth the visit. You know, learn some history, you know, and it's enjoyable, and got to see it. My parents had come here before Katrina had got to it.
Yeah, I'm glad we came.
Yeah.
I still think it was worth the price of admission.
It was $12.50.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So there you go, guys. From beautiful Biloxi, Mississippi. And we'll get you next video.
Bye.